The Legend of the Mystic Mountain. On the towering, mist-covered, mystic mountain, there lived a young dragon maiden. Gifted with magical dragon wings, she could soar through the skies and traverse the heavens. Her favorite pastime was to overlook the world below, assisting those in need, especially the wandering martial artists of the Jianghu. One day, she heard that a village in the lower realm had been taken over by a ruthless tyrant, causing the villagers to live in fear. Determined to help, the dragon maiden decided to descend from the mountain and use her wings and wisdom to aid the oppressed. This is the story of her journey, a tale of courage, compassion, and the pursuit of justice. Chapter 1: Whispers in the Clouds. It was a day like any other when the dragon maiden overheard a troubling tale from the mortal realm. A once prosperous village had fallen into the hands of a cruel tyrant. The villagers lived in constant fear, unable to enjoy the peace they once knew. This news stirred the dragon maiden's sense of justice. She knew it was her time to act. Unfurling her dragon wings, she leapt into the skies, slicing through the clouds, her heart set on the village where darkness had taken hold. Chapter 2: Arrival in the village. When the dragon maiden arrived at the village, the sight that greeted her was bleak. The once lively streets were now desolate, and the homes looked abandoned. The villagers were hiding behind closed doors, their faces marked by fear. As she flew over the village square, she spotted a group of thugs, the tyrant's enforcers, shamelessly looting whatever was left. Anger surged through the dragon maiden, but she knew charging in headfirst wouldn't solve the problem. She needed to understand the situation first. Silently, she slipped into one of the homes, where she overheard a conversation among the villagers. "We can't keep living like this," an elderly man said, his voice filled with despair. "They come every day, taking whatever they want. How will we survive? Our children are starving. Double quotes, another villager added, his voice trembling. The dragon maiden clenched her fists. She knew she had to help these people. A plan takes shape. That night, the dragon maiden set her plan into motion. She first flew to the tyrant's stronghold, hiding on the rooftops as she observed the activities of the thugs. It wasn't long before she spotted the leader, a burly man wielding a massive broadsword, barking orders to his men as they prepared for the next day's raid. "Ha! Those foolish villagers are powerless against us," the tyrant laughed. "Tomorrow, we'll raid the granary on the southern edge of the village. We'll take everything." The dragon maiden's sharp mind quickly formulated a plan. She knew she couldn't confront them alone. She would need the villagers' help. But they were broken and afraid. She would have to inspire them first. Rallying the villagers. At dawn, the dragon maiden sought out one of the village's bravest residents, the blacksmith, Old Lee. She knocked gently on his door, and after a moment of hesitation, Old Lee cautiously opened it. His eyes widened in shock upon seeing the dragon maiden. Who are you?" he whispered, his voice barely above a tremble. "Why would you come here at a time like this?" "I'm here to help," the dragon maiden replied softly. "I know about the tyrant, and I have a plan to stop him. But I can't do it alone. I need you and the villagers to stand with me." Old Lee, though skeptical, saw the determination in her eyes and decided to trust her. He gathered a small group of villagers, the few who still had the courage to fight back, and brought them to meet the dragon maiden. "You don't need to fear them anymore," she told them, her voice firm but kind. "They are not as powerful as they seem. If we unite, we can defeat them. Tonight, we'll strike their stronghold when they least expect it." The villagers were still hesitant, but the dragon maiden's words sparked a flicker of hope in their hearts. Slowly, they began to believe in the possibility of a better future. Together, they prepared for the night's confrontation, the battle against the tyrant. As night fell, the dragon maiden led Old Lee and the villagers toward the tyrant's stronghold. Her dragon wings allowed her to move swiftly and silently, taking out the guards patrolling the perimeter with ease. The villagers followed her, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Suddenly, the tyrant's voice boomed from within the stronghold. "Who dares?" "It's me," the dragon maiden stepped forward, her gaze piercing. "You've terrorized this village for too long. Tonight, it ends," the tyrant laughed, drawing his broadsword. "A mere girl thinks she can challenge me. Foolish." But before the tyrant could strike, the dragon maiden leapt into the air, her wings giving her unmatched speed. She wielded her sword with precision, and the battle began. The tyrant quickly realized she was no ordinary opponent. Her skill, combined with the villagers' newfound bravery, overwhelmed him. With one final strike, the dragon maiden disarmed the tyrant, and he fell to his knees. The villagers, once cowed by fear, now stood tall and defiant, binding the tyrant and his men. Victory was theirs. The village reborn, with the tyrant gone, the village blossomed once again. The villagers, overjoyed and grateful, invited the dragon maiden to stay and celebrate. But she only smiled and shook her head. "My place isn't here," she said gently. "There are others who need help, and I must continue my journey." With that, she spread her dragon wings and soared into the sky, leaving the villagers gazing up in awe. Her story would be passed down through generations, teaching children the values of courage, resilience, and helping others. Though her journey continued, the dragon maiden's legacy had taken root in the hearts of those she had saved. A new call, years passed, and the dragon maiden continued her adventures, flying across the lands and aiding those in need. One day, as she flew through the clouds, she heard a new call, one that was soft yet full of urgency. It beckoned her from a distant place, guiding her toward her next great adventure. She followed the call to a secluded valley where a village, hidden from the world, lay in distress. The people there were anxious, living in fear of a powerful force that loomed over them, a sinister cult known as the Black Wine Sect. The hidden village, the villagers had long guarded a sacred artifact that held immense power, passed down through generations. But the Black Wine Sect, led by a ruthless warlord, sought to seize it for their own dark purposes. The villagers, unable to fend off the sect's attacks, had isolated themselves, fearful of losing both their artifact and their lives. The dragon maiden knew she had to act quickly. She spent time learning about the village's history, discovering that their ancestors had once been part of an ancient sect of warriors. These warriors had developed powerful techniques to protect the artifact, but much of this knowledge had been lost to time. The dragon maiden sought out the village elders, convincing them to teach her the remnants of these forgotten arts. Moved by her dedication, they agreed, awakening the artifact. As the Black Wine Sect prepared for another attack, the dragon maiden trained hard, mastering the ancient techniques and unlocking the artifact's dormant powers. She realized that the key to defeating the sect lay in awakening the full potential of the artifact and using it to restore the village's strength. When the night of the final confrontation arrived, the dragon maiden and the villagers were ready. The final battle, the Black Wine Sect launched their assault under the cover of darkness, with their leader, the warlord, at the forefront. But they were met with unexpected resistance. The dragon maiden, with her newfound abilities and the power of the artifact, had prepared a defensive formation that ensnared the sect's forces. A fierce battle ensued, with the dragon maiden using her wings and speed to outmaneuver the warlord. Their fight was intense, but in the end, she struck a decisive blow, breaking his dark power and freeing the village from his tyranny. A village reborn, with the Black Wine Sect defeated, the village could finally breathe freely. The elders, inspired by the dragon maiden's bravery, vowed to rebuild their ancient traditions and safeguard their people. Though they offered her a place of honor, the dragon maiden once again chose to move on. "There are still others out there who need help," she said, as she took to the skies once more. "My journey is not yet over. The adventures continue, The Dragon Maiden's legend continued to grow as she flew across the lands, helping those in need and bringing hope wherever she went. Her name became synonymous with courage, kindness, and justice. Though no one knew where her next adventure would take her, one thing was certain: as long as there were people in need, the Dragon Maiden would be there to answer the call. Her tale is one of courage, and as long as her wings take flight, her adventures will never truly end.